You, Dr. Edith Basalima. A very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. And I'm always happy to see you yearning to learn and going out there to improve your businesses. So each one of us, I know, those of us engaged in the entrepreneurial journey know that it's not an easy journey. And there are times when you feel like you want to leave and move and just stop what you're doing. And where you feel that the no feels louder than the yes. And you want that, you simply feel that the easiest thing to do is to walk away. I must mention that there is a specific kind of internal fire, and that is a spirit of resistance that separates those that dream from those that build an enterprise. And this morning, our guest has not just studied this, I can say that he has lived it, and he's here this morning to share with us how to turn the not now into not yet. I would like to welcome you to join me to welcome Mr. Andrew Irumba Katusabe, who is an accomplished investigative journalist and a distinguished Pan-Africanist with a strong footprint in media, governance, advocacy, and continental unity of a One Africa, One Passport. He's the CEO of the SPY Uganda. Most of us have seen online news by the SPY Uganda and also Detective Uganda online news platforms, which are known for investigative reporting and public interest journalism. Mr. Irumba also serves as the president of the Independent Online Journalist Associations, an association that brings together professional online journalists and advocates for the rights, standards, and growth of online media. Beyond journalism, he's a founding speaker and chairman of the Pan-African Pyramid, a global network organization that connects Pan-Africanists across the continent and the diaspora, promoting Pan-Africanism, unity, intellectual engagement, and strategic collaboration. Through his works, Mr. Irumba continues to champion transparency, accountability, and the Pan-African grand agenda of the United States of Africa, USA, as a one country, one people, one passport place. Mr. Irumba, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning. And I must thank Dr. Sirajega, who persuaded you to come and share your journey with us, specifically that spirit of resistance, that spirit of not just giving up. Welcome, and you have 40 minutes to make your presentation. Thank you. Mr. Irumba, are you there? Could you please unmute and make your presentation? Hello, Mr. Irumba.
Yes. Dr. Diana?
Yes, Josh, I'm trying to get to our speaker, but I also see in the attendees, the SPY Uganda, maybe we give him speaking rights.
Yes, that is what I was trying to mention. I'm trying to give him rights. I don't know if the account is able to do that.
Hello, but I can see him. I can see him logged on as Irumba.
May I request the account by Uganda to?
He's going to log on again. He's trying to log in again.
Hello, am I clear there?
Yes, we can hear you now, Mr. Irumba. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Sorry, there was a technical problem here. I could listen, but then I couldn't contribute. So you can hear me now.
Yes, we hear you well. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Very good. Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank you, first of all, for giving me an opportunity to speak to you, having chosen me from the 50 million plus people in Uganda and those outside Uganda. And you thought about this poor little Mtoro from Toro. It's my opportunity, and I'm glad that I am speaking to you. I will begin by first giving you a written presentation, and then after I will come back to join the dots. The journey of success is rarely smooth. It is often marked by obstacles, uncertainty, and moments of doubt. However, what separates those who succeed from those who give up is one defining quality, and that quality is called the spirit of resilience and determination to never give up. Today, I share not just a concept, but a lived experience. I have lived what I'm sharing with you. My journey as an investigative journalist, media entrepreneur, and Pan-African advocate is built on resilience, persistence, and an unshakable belief in purpose. Every story of success has a beginning, and mine began from scratch. There were moments when I had no financial resources, no institutional backing, and no guarantees of success. What I had was an idea, a vision, and the courage to start. Building the Spy Uganda, Detective UG, the Spy Television Online, and the Pan-African Pyramid was not backed by wealth or powerful connections. It was driven by determination. There were times when progress was slow, when challenges seemed overwhelming, and when giving up felt like the easier option. But resilience is built in such moments. It is the ability to continue moving forward, even when there is no visible sign of success. Resistance is not just about fighting external challenges, it is a mindset. It's the refusal to accept limitations imposed by circumstances, society, or fear. As an investigative journalist for about 15 years now, resistance means speaking truth to power, even when it is uncomfortable or risky. It means standing firm in the face of intimidation, criticism, or isolation. And in building institutions like Indoja, Uganda, and the Pan-African Pyramid, Resistance meant challenging the status quo and creating new systems where none existed. It is required belief in a bigger vision, one that extends beyond personal success to collective empowerment. The power of never giving up. There is a power, transformation that happens when you decide that quitting is not an option. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. In my journey, persistence turned small beginnings into recognized platforms. It transformed ideas into institutions and vision into impact. Never giving up doesn't mean the absence of failure. It actually means refusing to be defined by failure. It means rising again, adapting, and continuing the journey with even greater determination. True success is not measured only by personal achievement, but by the systems and opportunities you create for others. Through resilience, I have been able to build platforms that amplify voices, expose injustice, and contribute to the Pan-African movement. The organization I lead today is not just titles. It is actually a product of years of persistence, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. This is the essence of resistance, building something meaningful despite adversity. To those pursuing their dreams, especially in challenging environments, I offer these lessons. Believe in your vision, even when others do not. Start with what you have, even if it is nothing. Embrace challenges as part of the journey. Remain consistent, even when progress seems invisible. And most importantly, never give up. Your current situation doesn't define your future. No, it doesn't actually. What defines it is your ability to persist. What's important is not that you have fallen down. No. What is more important is that you've actually stood up after falling down. It doesn't even mean that when you fall down, you are weak. No, it may mean that you actually need to stop at that right time and look back and see how you're moving and whether you need to continue the way you've been moving. The many times that you fall doesn't matter, but the many times that you stand up after falling is what matters most. The spirit of resistance and never giving up is not reserved for a few. It is actually a choice available to all. It is the force that turns ordinary individuals into change makers. My journey is a testament to the power of resilience, from starting with nothing to building impactful platforms. It has been a path shaped by persistence and belief. As you pursue your own path this morning, remember this: success is not about how easy the journey is, but how determined you are to continue despite the challenges. Never give up. I thank you so much. So now that I have finished my written submission, I want to go back and connect the dots. Ladies and gentlemen, I come from a family of 104 children. Our father gave birth to 104 children. This might sound a little bit surprising, but like I've told you already in my submission, that I have lived experience. I am not discussing any other person. I'm just discussing me. So having grown up from 104 siblings, and then our father was a Pan-African, was that man that would walk in the village, in the community. He finds a child with no assistance, probably he has the most poorest parents, probably he has no parents at all. He would simply pick that child and come with him or her on his bicycle and say, from today, this is also my child. So you add from 104 going forward. So he had adopted a lot of children, and he educated them. And I want to give a testimony that one of those children that were picked by my father from the community and educated, today one of them is actually a commissioner in oil and gas in Hoima. When you go there in Hoima, you'll find a commissioner called Irumba. And I don't want to add the other names for purposes of protecting his identity, but there is somebody called Irumba. And so many other children that he brought up. Now, coming up from a family of 104 was a challenge because you could not, he could not really afford all the necessities that the children would have, like you who were born 1 or 2 children. I'm sure your parents could have given all that they could. But for us, there were those challenges that you could not afford to give everything to 104 and plus children. So there were challenges that we grew up from. But I am one of those who persisted. And now, from those challenges, a resilient heart was built. And when I came here in Kampala, I started small. Actually, I think one of the reasons why Dr. Siraj contacted me to push me to speak to you is because when I was starting up, probably he's one of the people that I started with here in Kampala, small. Actually, Siraj was my manager of on one of the radio stations. This station started by Dr. Kiurankuba Nkamhayo, my mentor in Pan-Africanism. It was in Kamuchi, around the opposite cement there. Siraj was a station manager, and I was working with him in the marketing department. And he saw how we started. There's also a time when I had started my personal business. Sometimes I would run dry. And every time I called Siraj to help me, I was down in terms of fuel sometimes. Siraj would send me 5,000 or 2,000 to buy fuel and continue moving. But there is a moment that I've never forgotten. At one time, I would call him many times that my car had stopped because of the battery. So when I called him about 8 times, the 9th time, I was stuck around one gear. So the man, instead of coming to jump me, he came with a battery. He bought me a brand new battery and put it on my car. And he solved that problem. And so from there, he never called him again for the car failures. I have never forgotten that moment. Then there was another moment when I started making liquid soap. Sometimes I wouldn't have capital. So I would call him to give me something to start up with. Then I would go and buy the materials. I manufactured the liquid soap in my home, in my garage. And then thereafter, I would sell and get the profit that I was supposed to keep. I would now go back to pay it because I would pay what I had been given. So me, I would remain with almost nothing, but I had to continue working because I knew that I had to pay that money to keep the friendship going. Those are some of the hardships that I faced. Then I worked in Britannia as a marketing executive. My first salary was about 40,000. Then by the time I left, I had become a marketing assistant. I was in charge of supermarkets in Kampala, the ShopRite, the mega supermarkets in Kampala, ShopRite, mega supermarkets, the Chikubo, the bigger shoppers, and so on. I think my salary had risen to about 240,000 as a supervisor, marketing assistant, supervisor. And then I made sure that everywhere I worked, I was not looking at salary. In fact, in my years of being an employer, I discourage any worker who comes to me, and the first thing in our discussion is, how much are you going to give me? My question back is always, how much are you bringing? So you bring what you are bringing, then we share from that. I always discourage young people asking how much are you giving me? Because an employer doesn't have money actually. He's also expecting you to come add from what you found him, and then from what you add, you share. So it's not that an employee is keeping money in the bank and you're coming to partake of what you already found him having kept in his bank through his other means. That is not your man as an employer. No, you're coming to, we work together, I give you a platform, we work together, we earn, and then we share. And those are some of the experience I've learned on job. So from every job that I've done in Britannia, I worked in Britannia, I worked on Dembe FM. Like I said, I worked on Car FM and Siraj was my manager. Then from there, I crossed to Sleeping Baby, what you call UKI in Kawempe, still as a marketing manager, Sleeping Baby. And then from there, I crossed to the Red Paper. I had now become a journalist, and I decided to practice from the Red Paper. And from Red Paper, that's when I decided now to start my own. But I decided that every job that I do, my focus was not on salary. It was not on money merely. If I was focusing on money, there are jobs and companies probably I wouldn't have worked for. Yet actually those companies built the real person that is talking to you today. So I decided to focus on what do I learn from the job that I've been given that I'm doing. And so this little salary that I was getting, I looked at it as a way of keeping you moving. If it's about transport, it's about rent, if it's about food. I took that salary to be that fuel that keeps you moving, but I never looked at it as something that I should really consider as a primary objective of me joining that company. And so that helps me to focus more. Whereas other workers were focusing on salary, all the time agitating for salary increase, I was actually agitating on ensuring that I learn almost in every department. They shift departments. I can be in production today for a week, and tomorrow I'm in the market. The other day I'm in something else. I made sure that I learn how things work, especially when you're working with the Indian community, because Sleeping Baby and Britannia, these are Indian-owned companies, and those people have built structures whereby you can be able to learn by yourself. You see everything if you are very keen and you follow. And from those companies that I worked, I managed to get skills. The liquid soap I am talking about and the massage oil, I learned to make them from the Indian companies. And now I own a company that makes them. I later on dropped the liquid soap because the salary was not that much, what you get from there, but they maintained other products, especially the massage oil. Actually, now, time came, I even stopped manufacturing it. I decided now to import it. Now I import massage oil and supply it in Kampala. So I got that skill from working with the Indian companies. Then when I crossed to Red Paper, I had also worked with the East African paper, call it NMG, where you find Daily Monitor and so on. But me, I was in the section of the East African paper. And I also gained skills from there because I was in the distribution chain. I learned how newspapers are sold, the clientele, and everything. Then when I came to Red Paper, I actually added value to that chain, but also in the way people gather information on news. And having worked there for about 6 years, when Red Paper got challenges, problems, that's when I developed a dream of saying the future of media industry is not in the print media. The future is actually online industry. And so how do we move on from this? Because I could see that if we must remain journalists, then we need to change tact. The future is not going to be on the copies, the physical copies that we would sell on the streets. No, the future was going digital. So I started up slowly. I remember the beginning was extremely hard because you don't have the money, you don't have most of the things that are needed. Even the regulation, at that time, I even had no idea about registering a media house with UCC, with URSB, and media council, getting reporters across the country, how to maintain them. I even had no idea. But something told me you must begin. And so initially, because I couldn't employ anybody because I didn't have money, I decided to run a lone journey. I started reporting almost alone, and I became like a madman on the streets because in a day you could have like 5 conferences to visit or 5 places to visit and get news, and so you all alone. It's like you would walk. Sometimes you would even fail to find food and eat because there was no time. You're moving from this place to another. As you're the other side, they call you here. There is another one. Until I started making a little bit of movements here and there, and then I found some few guys whom I had worked with at Red Paper, those who could understand me. I started recruiting them slowly, some of them, one by one, those who could actually understand the future and the purpose. Of course, there are those who refused to work because there was no money. They would come and ask, how much are you giving me? And when I said, I am not sure, and they couldn't see the future. So that's how we begin the Red Paper. I mean the Spy, beg your pardon. And then thereafter, we also begin the Detective UG. And after that, we finally, a few years ago, began the Spy Television. That is the version of the online newspaper. Having said that, I had been a member of the Pan-African movement. And some of our lecturers at that time were Tajuddin. I remember Professor Kajabago Karusoke. But then I was more shaped by Dr. Kiuranko Bankamuhayo. And so when there were challenges in the movement, there is Uganda is lucky that up to now, it hosts the Global Pan-African Secretariat. The global chapter is here, and then the national chapter is also here. So they have 2 offices in one. But there were challenges that sometimes you'd find that there is no activity at all happening. Even when you asked the leaders, they had no idea. They infused Pan-Africanism with politics. So politics took over, and Pan-Africanism seemed to be dying. Because I had been a very ardent student of Pan-Africanism, when it died, I sat down and I said, what can I do? Because I had already been convinced that Pan-Africanism is actually something that can change the world. But then I saw the change agents changing themselves from the primary objective. So when I saw that, like I've told you, everywhere I've worked, I have not focused on money or anything but the idea. By the time it started dying away, I had developed an idea that I can start another one. So one day I left, and a few months later, I started another platform at Fairway Hotel every Friday. And I almost shifted everybody from where we had been to a new place, and we moved. It is now 12 years of resistance, and I can tell you that we've developed other products within the Pan-African movement, like the Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards. We are the only Pan-African organization globally that actually awards Pan-Africans across the world. We are the only ones with that product. And why did I begin that? I saw that there was something that we could do to change the mindset of Africans, especially the young people. And that platform would only be the Pan-African pyramid, where we could speak Pan-Africanism. I realized the Pan-Africanism, nationalism spirit, and patriotism were dying in our society. And I believe that I had an opportunity to do something about it. And so that is now the school, Pan-African Pyramid, where we try as much as possible to train the young people on those three very important aspects of life. So we, together with a few friends, sat down and decided that this is something that we can take up. And indeed, we have championed it in our lives. Pan-Africanism is something that we live with, but sometimes we don't appreciate, because most Africans don't appreciate themselves. They appreciate other people. We tend to think about so much more about what the white man thinks for us, other than what we think we can do for ourselves. That's why you realize that most of these African governments, some of them are 70, 80% funded by the Western world. Imagine somebody funding your home by 70%. Now, what you pay back are your resources. What you pay back are your personal things that you believe in. That's why you hear LGBTQ so much spreading in Africa through the young people, the youth. Why? Because they inculcate, they indoctrinate them with the ideas that the white man is more superior than the black man. And because he's the one paying their school fees, the one paying the medical, he's the one. So you find that they take it easily, and they are taken up. So we took up the initiative to start changing that mindset from the young people. And as we speak, we've done some good work. There is our show runs on NBS TV on Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. We have a YouTube channel called the Pan-African Pyramid, which you can access anytime, any day. And those lectures are there to help champion the African cause. Then I also want to speak about the power that must keep within our souls to persist. I could have chosen to give up to do easy things, but every time I thought about doing the easy things, I realized that everybody else was doing the same things, easy things. So no one was choosing the hard path, but I realized in life that when you take a path that everyone is taking, probably there is no opportunity, because everybody has taken, and probably you're not the first. You could be the 1,000th time person to join. So when you take the hard path and you believe that it is the correct path, chances are that you're going to succeed, because most souls prefer simple and softer lives. When you choose the hard path, chances are that actually you will succeed, but you must be resilient. You must be consistent. You must be patient, and you must be learning. You must be willing to learn on the journey, along the journey. Every hard thing that you face, you must learn from it. I have taken these as part of my life. I never go for any simple thing. Everything I've chosen in life to do has not been simple, but I have finally won it. In my journalism, I chose to be an investigative journalist. And what is involved in that? An investigative journalist who is going to do investigative stories, the kind of hardships that you face, the kind of stories that you deal with, the kind of people that you deal with, the situations that you meet along the way is not the same as a journalist who is reporting about an accident that has just happened at Kalerwe, who is reporting about food prices in Kalerwe or Nakawa market. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. The corruption that I report about, the people in power that I challenge in my stories, the institutions of power that you go dig, investigate about, and finally you bring out a story talking different from what they would wish you to talk about them, puts you in a situation whereby if you lack those qualities I told you above, you give up. I have never given up. I've been doing this investigative journalism for the last 8 years. I have faced a lot of challenges, but they have only made me more stronger. And so you realize that with time, for as long as you're doing the right thing, but that might be easy, you'll finally create a group of people. They may not be many. Those people will be very few, but those people will have more impact on you and society, more than the larger groups that believed in everything, whether wrong or right, they just believe, they just move on. No, I chose to a journey that does not attract a lot of people, but a few, 1 or 2, 3, 5 people that you pick that follow you. Those people mean a lot to society, mean a lot to you as a person, and they actually become change agents in our societies. So I have seen these things. I will give you a very personal experience. I had a lawyer. This will be my last part. I had a lawyer who actually rescued me from jail when Red Pepper and Daily Monitor were closed. We had written a story about David Tinyafunza, his dossier when he was escaping to exile and he faced problems. We wrote that story. So when we wrote that story, we were closed. So when we were closed, I decided to stage a one-man demonstration at Parliament. So I walked from Parliament, I mobilized the other people, but they feared to join me. So I demonstrated alone, and I was arrested, I was detained. There is this one lawyer who came and rescued me, and he never had money, I never gave him anything. We were just friends, he rescued me. So from that time, we became friends. Now, I think about 3 years later, he brings a story. He had a client in Mbale. He's also from Mbale. So he had a client who had done businesses with a white man. And the time came, this client wanted to cheat the white man. He wanted to take all the wealth, the office, and the brass band, and everything that the organization had made. And so this man sat down with this lawyer and choreographed a very bad story about him, against him. And so they ended up in court. He accused the white man of using young girls and boys, recruiting them into LGBTQ. So this gentleman, because he's my friend, he came and gave me this story, and he wanted me to write this story. So when he gave it to me, I demanded to get the contact of the white man. So when I got the contact of the white man, I called him on phone and he gave me a completely different story. So he called this gentleman, the lawyer, my lawyer actually. And I said, you know what, I'm traveling to Mbale. I want to have a one-on-one with this man. So this lawyer wanted to corrupt me and he gave me transport. He said, it's okay, go there, here is your transport. So when I reached there, using his own money, I found the story different, completely different. I realized that they simply wanted this man to be forced out of the country so that they partake of his wealth. So I changed the story from Umbali. I called the man, I said, sir, you are my brother, you are my lawyer, but this is wrong. And the story on ground is different. I have interviewed the children you are accusing, you are alleging that he used. These children, actually, I found them playing band in his school. I found them in class. I went as far as interviewing their parents. I went to the homes of those parents. The parents are here with me. I am even recording them for you. They are saying something completely different. So when I wrote the story, my personal lawyer now sued me because he expected me to side with him because he's my lawyer, because he's my friend. So I wrote the story completely different from what he wanted. Moreover, having used his money as transport to Mbali. So we are still in court up to now. My lawyers are from Katenda and St. Pego Advocates. We are still in court. And one thing that struck him when we met in court, I told the court exactly how I have told you. And the man, after the session, came to me in my car and said, but Irumba, how could you say that? I said, sir, you cannot do that, especially with me. You can do it with others, but not with me. You can't tell lies to that magnitude, and you expect me, because we are friends, I should support you. So I am just giving you this story to show you what we go through as investigative journalists. It is sometimes you read that story, you enjoy the story, but people who do it actually sacrifice a lot. And such issues have been very alive in my life as a journalist. I would like to end here my presentation and maybe wait for, if there are questions or comments, I will respond to them. I thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew Irumba. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you so much. Indeed, I think we couldn't have got any other person to present about the spirit of resistance and never giving up, other than getting you, an investigative journalist. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story. Your story is very interesting. And we've noted issues of what is resilience, what is persistence. These are issues of ability to continue moving forward in hard situations, ability to keep working, to keep going. And you need to have power, never to give up. You think of a mindset of quitting is not an option. So we thank you so much. Your story, again, the family story is very interesting, of having a family of 104 children. You know, when you mentioned it, wow, I said, what is this? And indeed, your father, again, on top of the 104 children, he was open to bringing in other children who are vulnerable. We appreciate him for all that he did. And I think we are picking a lot of lessons. And your story is a very, again, educative, because especially the Gen Zs or the millennials who could be logged on this morning, I think they've picked a lesson they've learned, because I find many of them not being very patient, but I don't want to judge them. So, you know, people who are logged on have questions or comments to make. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but I would like to invite Mr. Josh Karuhanga to manage Q&A before we end.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edith. So I'm going to take us through Q&A. And there are three ways in which you can find a way of asking your question or getting your comment across to the speaker. One is to raise your electronic hand, Cash, I see you. The second one is to type your question in the chat or to type your question under Q&A, it will be read out, and today's speaker, Mr. Irumba, will be able to respond. So I already see Kash. If you raise your electronic hand, you'll be given permission to unmute yourself. So let's take the first question in the chat. Kash, you're free to unmute and ask your question directly.
Good morning. I'm Kash from Kash is another entrepreneur also in the entrepreneurship space. I want to thank you, Bwana Irumba, for a good talk. The comment I have,
Yes, Kash, are you still there? We seem to have lost Kash. In case you're there, maybe it might be a network issue. Kash, in case you are able to, you still have permission to unmute. You can you feel free to ask your question whenever you get a chance to. Maybe as Kash is sorting out his audio issues, I could just read. There's a comment that has come in Q&A. Appreciation for the session for the today's session from Eunice, who says thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your wonderful family stories and a lot of lessons learned. And earlier on, there's someone in the chat who was saying earlier on before when you couldn't speak, Mr. Irumba, he said the spirit of resistance has stopped you from talking. So that was something a bit humorous in the chat there. Yes, we seem to have lost. Okay, Kash is now back on. Kash, feel free to unmute again. We didn't get your question.
yes, sorry, someone called me and I was using a phone.
All right.
The last point I wanted was that we have a lot of incompetents who use funny tricks and they spoil the good work. Thank you for resisting being a crook so that someone gets up and steals some other person's thing. We will build this country through honesty and doing a good thing. I really recommend you for that, and it was a good lesson. We could take it to other levels as well. Thank you. I will get in touch with you. I would also love if you share with us your numbers so that we could engage offline.
Thank you very much, Kash. That was just appreciation for the session, and also he's requesting if you can share contact. I don't know if you're able to share it in the chat. A way that the viewers this morning can contact you.
Okay, I'm doing that right away.
All right, thank you so much.
I'm doing that right away.
Thank you. So maybe as you do that, I see you've put it in. I can read for you there are two comments in the chat. Let me read them out to you and then give you an opportunity to respond. One is coming from Rotarian Kalule, who says, great presentation, and asks, how is Mr. Irumba managing threat of killing from political stories? And then the second one is coming from Magaba Alex, who says, great, Mr. Irumba. I used to hear from my friends Kazova and Stephen, who used to talk about the openness and resistance about corruption and Pan-Africa. The second was just a comment. Maybe I'll give you an opportunity to respond to the first question from Rotarian Kalule.
How is Mr. Irumba managing threat of killing from political stories? Yes, as journalists, these are our daily lives. This is what we go through every day. When somebody gets into trouble with the law, they don't want you to speak. They want you to shut down. And they will want to do that at all costs, including trying to bribe you. But I can tell you honestly that everybody has a calling, if you listen to yourself, there is nothing more important, no amount of money. If you have listened to your calling very clearly, no amount of money can replace that calling. It's not there. So I have been able to do what I do because I listen more to my calling and my purpose than any other thing. That's what I can answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Irumba. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to type your questions and your comments in the chat. They'll be read out. If you want to speak directly, you raise your electronic hand and you'll be given permission to unmute and speak directly. But I would also want to add my voice and thank you, Mr. Irumba, for the presentation this morning. I was on the call listening, and I also appreciate the presentation this morning.
Thank you so
As we
much,
wait,
sir. I have, as we wait for another comment, I'm trying to share something in through the message here. It is refusing to come. Maybe I will share it with the doctor, then she will share it with our members. What has prompted me to share it is that last question. How have I managed to overcome those temptations? I would request our members to, if they can, it's refusing to come. There's what they call the 40 laws of the ancient Kemets. I would like our members to read them. I have compiled them for them. There are 40 laws in this world that started with the world. Forget about these constitutions of different countries that change every day. They are laws that have tested, that have been around even, I think they started with the humanity. They are called the 40 ancient Kemets, the principles of math. In natural land, they call it matoput. The laws of justice, balance, and morality. These are timeless African ethics that have stood for thousands of years. I would like our members to start practicing them and learn them every day. They will help them so much. They will help them so much. This has been my moral compass in everything that they have done. I don't know whether you have seen them. My brother have shared them as a message, but if they don't come, I'm going to share them with the doctor. Then doctor will share with our members. I would appreciate if our members also started practicing some sort of Pan-Africanism. And in this Pan-Africanism specifically, if they could try to follow the 40 Kemet laws, the ancient Egypt, the laws that have been there since humanity began. They are those laws that never change. Laws about truth, balance, justice, and morality. They never change. And if you practice them, you don't need even to memorize or read any other constitution or penal code of any country. They will keep you intact.
thank you so much, Mr. Irumba. Let me just confirm that I have not been able to see it shared, but I can let
It
the
has come, I'm
viewers.
sure.
Oh yes,
I'm
I've seen
sure.
the
You've seen it?
attachment now. Yes.
Very good. So
Yes. So,
one of the things that I would like to share with our members this morning, the 40 plus people listening to us, is everyone else to take time and read these 40 laws of the ancient Egypt or the Kemets. Matoputi Nacholi. That's all, sir.
thank you so much. I hope you can still hear me.
I can hear you.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm seeing we're coming to the top of the hour. I'm also trying to download that document you've shared. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to, the attachment is in the chat for what he has been talking about, the 40 laws. But also there is a link shared in the chat as well to join the WhatsApp group. Alternatively, we shall also share the same document in that group. So feel free to join the Entrepreneurship Business Network. And we've come to the top of the hour. I would request to close Q&A, so not to take us any further than 8, and hand it back to Dr. Edith Basalirwa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Josh Karuhanga, for managing Q&A. And I would like to appreciate our presenter, Mr. Irumba Andrew, once again. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. And it has helped many of us because we've picked a lot from your presentation. We've picked many lessons. I started thinking of what is the training background of Mr. Irumba, because it's like you've done many things. When you narrated your story of you worked with Britannia, you did marketing, you worked with Red Pepper, and now you are an investigative journalist. You know, I started wondering, but we appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for finding time in your busy schedule to come and talk with us. Josh, kindly help me to establish, is the principal logged on?
No, Doctor, principal is not on currently.
Okay, I would like to invite the Dean, Faculty of Management, to, if he's still logged on, Dr. Joshua Mugambwa. If he's still logged on, I would like to invite him to give closing remarks. Josh, do you see Dr. Mugambwa logged on?
Doctor, I'm currently facing a bit of a technical issue, so I'm not able to see.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appreciate Mr. Irumba Andrew. Thank you very much for your presentation. I know that we've learned a lot, and thank you also for leaving the document you've shared with us, the 40 laws about Pan-Africanism. I think it's going to help us to learn more from what you've been sharing. And I know that when we read through, we are going to be changed people for our society and our community. I think our community requires us to be Pan-Africanists, and it's very important for us to take note. Thank you for coming to share with us. I think now we know when people talk about Pan-Africanism, it can help us to give pointers and indicators on some of the issues to be done. I don't want to waste a lot of time since people, it is beyond the top of the hour, but we appreciate you, Mr. Irumba. Thank you. I know we'll invite you in to come and make other presentations.
You're welcome,
Allow
madam.
me to again appreciate, I want to appreciate Mr. Siraji, Dr. Siraji Iga, who was able to connect with you. And in your story, indeed, you mentioned him. We appreciate Dr. Iga for finding you, and we are going to use his connection again to invite you, especially also to talk to our students who do entrepreneurship, because they need to be able to be resistant in whatever they do and persevere in different situations as entrepreneurs. We'll be inviting you again as a guest lecturer to our classes. Thank you very much. Allow me to appreciate everybody who logged on this morning. Thank you again for starting your Thursday with us. And kindly log on again every Thursday, same time. We'll be having many exciting presentations. I'd like to wish everybody a blessed Thursday. And to our Muslim brothers and sisters, we would like to wish you a nice ending of the Ramadan season. I'd like to wish everybody and thank you so much. Blessed Thursday. Bye-bye for now.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move. 'Cause the world will never see you until you do. really care what you're going through. So you gotta show 'em, baby. You gotta show 'em the real you. You gotta give 'em what you've got. No, don't let them say what you're not, 'cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby, 'cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. What do you do when you can't let go? What do you say when you just don't know how you feel? And you know nobody knows how you feel, 'cause everybody's got their own damn problem. So everybody's trying to find their way, and day by day is a struggle. In this world, you know you have to hustle. Just know that you're not alone. You don't always have to be strong all by yourself. I said it's okay to ask for help. Now listen, people will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. People will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. You are a work of art. Bet you didn't think you'd come this far. Now here you are. Baby, you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby, 'cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you.